Alright, here we've got Adam doing some front squatting, and I wanted to share this video just because Adam does a couple really good things here in terms of his positioning and whatnot while he's front squatting. Anytime we do any sort of barbell lift, as much as possible, we want the bar positioned directly over the middle of the foot. So think front squat, think back squat, think any sort of overhead pressing, the receiving position of a snatch, of a clean, any of those things. We want that bar to be positioned directly over the middle of the foot. And you can see here, I've got this line drawn, which basically cuts Adam's foot right in half, front and back. And as we do a few reps here, you can see that he does a really good job of keeping that bar, dropping it pretty much straight down, keeping it right over the middle of his foot. He comes up. He also does a really good job. Watch the next one here. Bar comes down. Notice in this bottom position, in a good front squat, you can't see his back very well, but just knowing where the bar is, his back angle is going to be pretty vertical. Okay, hips are obviously down well below his knees, but look at how far out over his toes his knees are, and that requires a ton of flexibility in the ankle and the hip. And this is why good squatting, front squatting especially, overhead squatting as well, requires a lot of mobility in the ankle and the hip. So for those of you that have poor ankle mobility, what that does is it forces your hips to get kicked back further because your knee can't track as far forward. And when your hips go back, in order for that bar to stay over the middle of the foot, that means that your back angle, all of a sudden, instead of being pretty close to vertical like that, now all of a sudden your butt's way back here and your back angle is a lot more angled like that, which means your back has to work a lot harder to not tip over and everything. And you can actually see, if we do a few more reps here, Adam did 4 reps in this set. Those first 2 are pretty solid. If we put that line there again, watch what happens even as he just starts to fatigue a little bit on these next few reps. Look at how the bar is drifting forward of that line. It's coming out over his toes more. And then here on the 4th rep, it's even more noticeable. Bar comes way forward relative to where it started. Now it's out almost over the ball of his foot, over his toes. And so I just wanted to point out how important it is to, one, have good flexibility in the ankles and the hips for squatting and just for about everything else that we do, and how it's so important for proper position to keep that bar directly over the middle of your hips, or feet rather, and bar over your hips, over your feet for that matter. Yep.